Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are on this fast forward planet. This is a pop up Sustain What episode on the 4th of July, the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States of America. Today, there is a beautiful event down in New York City where I used to live along the Hudson River, a flotilla of tall ships. I think J.D. Vance, the vice president, is there. There have been flyovers for those in New York City who've seen all this. It's festive and designed to be a celebration of our nation's founding and our nation's durability and endurance and the beauty of sail. And I was pinged by John Bowermaster, a friend who has done many films about the Hudson River, that the Clearwater, the Sloop Clearwater, the fabled environmental conservation organization founded by Pete Seeger and others in the late 1960s, the Clearwater, which for months had been set up to be a boat in the celebratory parade with others, has been diverted by military vessels and New York City Police Department and the Navy because of some banners they put up on the sails. The banners are not inflammatory. We'll learn more. I just did an interview with Dave Toman, the executive director, who was on the boat, on the sloop, now sitting south of the Verrazano Bridge because they can't do the parade with the rest of the craft. So let me just start you here on Facebook. My friend Tom Labar, who's also on the boat from the Beacon Sloop Club, he posted some video on Facebook that I'm going to show you. This just happened a short while ago.
Turn your vessel around right now. We're here to escort. Turn your vessel back towards the bridge.
You're going to see a bit more in a second. So again, for months they had been part of the plan to be in the parade, escorting a Portuguese tall ship. You can see in the background there's the tall ships, a couple of aircraft carriers. So again, I did an interview just a few minutes ago with Dave Toman, the executive director of Clearwater, to learn more about what's going on. And this is video just posted from the deck of the sloop Clearwater. Hold on one second. So here's another image. You can see the banners. There's some discussion. I've reached out to Sail250 organization, which is kind of a, we'll learn more about it in a few minutes. I reached out to them for a comment on why the Clearwater is diverted. There's some discussion online already that it was because the banners are activist and this was supposed to be a nonpartisan parade. Clearwater, as you'll hear, states there's nothing partisan about what they were talking about. These are security vessels that diverted to Clearwater. That's the Verrazano Bridge. That's the gateway to the New York Harbor and the Hudson River, which these boats have spent 50 years patrolling and educating people on the importance of cleaning up the river. So now I want to take you to the interview I just did.
Being diverted by the Coast Guard and
hold on one second. So David Toman is the executive director of Clearwater, and I reached him just now on the boat, and there's a picture from what happened earlier today. And David, first you're going to hear why this is an issue, why they feel this was inappropriate, and then you'll hear a little description of what happened.
Being diverted by the Coast Guard and taken out of the parade in when we are trying to celebrate the beauty of what is America and the initial words and statements that our forefounders had the foresight to think of and to say, to give us freedom that evolved over time into our constitutional rights of freedom of speech. What we're doing is so American today, and yet we were pulled out of a 4th of July celebration. There is nothing in our signage that's offensive to anyone. It's inclusive and it's thankful and it's environmental awareness that so many people not only care about, but it's necessity for our future. And so it should be nothing other, I would think, but very much appreciated to bring this to light as we're celebrating the great wisdom of our founders and the original words of our Declaration of Independence.
On a river that the Clearwater helped to clean over the last 50 years, 60 years. Yeah,
exactly.
That must feel even more upsetting.
Yeah, it is. It is.
All right. Well, thanks.
And I can assure you, there is plenty of audience along that river that would very much have cheered our sailing up the river with these banners on board. Sail250 celebration in New York Harbor. We've been coordinated with them for months. We were lined to be the escort of the Portuguese boat through the parade. And we got to south of the Verrazano Bridge where ships were gathering to get ready for the parade in Channel Lane. And we were sailing there with many vessels for hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, and then we started heading. We finally aligned with the boat that we were escort to. We're headed towards the Verrazano. The parade route heads up the west side of Manhattan, right to the George Washington Bridge. Anyways, as we were approaching the Verrazano Bridge, we were approached by two Coast Guard vessels that said, "You must turn around. You're not allowed in the parade." Well, I'm shouting overboard. We're one of the scheduled boats in the parade. What's happening? And they're like, "The orders are you are to exit the parade." They escorted us out. Our captain behaved and not behaved, but obeyed all the requests and rules of the Coast Guard and followed the escort that they gave us back south of the Verrazano Bridge, which was where we were hovering and sailing now. We're not allowed north of the bridge until the security zone is cleared at about 3 o'clock before we're even allowed to return to port.
And were the banners already up earlier,
yes.
or?
Yeah, they were up. They were up when we raised the sail this morning. So, we're sailing for a while with it very visible and very clearly on the sail. So it wasn't like we surprised anybody as we got into the parade route.
By the way, is Sail250 like a corporate event? Is it a governmental event or like one of these non-governmental things?
I would say quasi, right? The organization itself is non-governmental, but they coordinate in conjunction with the Coast Guard and the city of New York. Ships are coming from all around the world. So there's a lot of coordination with various nations represented vessels, and certainly our Coast Guard vessel, our other military vessels are part of it. We had a flyover, including red, white, and blue streaks across Manhattan. So it was a very government. It was a private organization coordinating for government entities.
Right. And I assume there's no recourse. This is all happening in real time, so it's not like you can...
Oh, it's done. The parade's up the river. We're stuck out here until they clear the security zone. So, yeah, there's no way for us to reconvene. They will not let us in north of the bridge.
So that's the interview I just did with Dave Toman from the deck of the Clearwater. They're sitting out there now south of the Verrazano Bridge instead of parading north under the Washington Bridge onto the Hudson River that the organization, the Clearwater, has spent decades cleaning up successfully. It's kind of a travesty, of course, but we live in a time of travesty. There's banners that were evidently the cause for the Clearwater to be diverted from its long-planned role on the Hudson River, helping celebrate the 250th anniversary of our country's founding, helping celebrate the cleaning of the river. This was on the Clearwater website, clearwater.org. You can see this has been planned for months. Yet maybe, dare I say, that someone in Vice President J.D. Vance's entourage did not want signs saying "Save the Clean Water Act" or "Respect Indigenous Rights" and promoting climate action to be in the parade, because they would probably propose it's not a parade about this country; it's a parade about the politics of the current administration. Which is a pretty woeful situation. I have reached out to the folks who the Sail250 organization to get their response on why this happened. The New York Times and others are going to be covering this shortly, if not already. Do what you can to support Clearwater. Clearwater.org is it's a worthy organization that has been successful at helping clean up the river. But more than that, getting kids out on the river. There's the website, clearwater.org, and fostering a nonpartisan approach to progress on the environment along this fabled body of water. And it's a shame that that sloop, that 120-foot sloop, is no longer part of this parade, which you're seeing is getting heavily covered by the usual media. I hope they cover this issue as well. And I just wanted to make the point that this is an important problem. And there's more. If you go on Facebook, you'll see from my friends at the Beacon Sloop Club or at Clearwater itself, there's plenty to see, to keep track of as this goes forward, the events, and to see what you can do to foster progress despite what's happening today. I'm just going to go to Tom Labar's post on Facebook to close things out because he has some excellent video from the deck of the vessel. And then get on with your day. I'll get on with my day, and we'll hope for a better day. Hold on one second. Share this tab instead. Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to unmute. I can make silence, but that's just one of the technical glitches of using StreamYard. But you get the idea. Indigenous rights, racial justice, climate solutions. Such a controversial message. This is Andy Revkin. This is Sustain What. When I stop here, you can share the link you're watching on with anyone and everyone. And I encourage you to do so. And this will be on my Substack in a little while. What a shame.